My name is Ann Baruth. I'm third and fourth generation Sheboygan, Wisconsin. I was originally born Pauline Ann Tross. I was born on July 26, 1956. I'm the oldest of three girls. My father was Louis Tross. He had been in the Marine Corps. He was a real world-class swimmer. If the war hadn't broken out for World War II, he likely would have been in the Olympics, as he placed in a few meets on the national level. Then he was a salesman. He had his brother's furniture store. He owned that toward the end of his career and ran it. He went to Lawrence University, and he went to Oberlin, and he finished his educational stretch at Madison. My mother, Fay Delorme, was the oldest of four children. My dad was the youngest of four. My mother was a very gracious and elegant woman. She had lots and lots of friends. They had a gorgeous home. They had a big party every Christmas, and they just had lovely people that they knew. She knew how to dress in an elegant manner, and a couple people told me that she, when she was young, was considered the most beautiful woman in Sheboygan. I look like my dad, but she was considered the most beautiful woman in Sheboygan. She had gone to school to be a speech therapist in a school, and she never did have to work outside the home like that. She was quite a house keeper. When I was 7, they bought this gorgeous home in the village of Kohler, and honestly, any day of the week, I think that the Milwaukee Sentinel could have come in and taken pictures of the beautiful home, and she'd just have to straighten a few magazines on the coffee table. She was sort of a gourmet cook, chef. She really loved to cook and would make lasagna noodles by hand, and they'd be strung all over hanging from the dining room and before the dinner guests, that evening. And she just really excelled at so many things. She also was a swimmer. That's how they met. She was a lifeguard at Elkhart Lake at the Fireman's Park. And my dad was, after the Marine Corps, was the head of all the Red Cross swimming instruction for Sheboygan County. And that's where they met. And eventually, for a few years, they had a condo at Point Elkhart that their unit overlooked Fireman's Park, where they met. So that was sort of sweet. I would say that my parents waited for, I think, a few years before they had a child. They really wanted one. And then I came along, and 4.5 years went by before I had a sibling. So when I think of my father, I think about my early birthdays. Nothing was too much for my birthday. They would bring in a pony, or they would bring in a little car from the parades, and it just showed his delight that he had this child. My uncle, his older half-brother, we had a farm, and he and his son, my older cousin Bob, brought a pony one year. I think we had 20-some girls over. We had the pony, and I can't remember if we had the pool or he once again got the little car from the parade that could buzz around and each girl could get a ride with him. He really delighted in that, and he wanted us to take the trips across the country that he never was able to. He was born in 1923, and by the time he was about 12, his mother was a single mom. And she owned, I think, and ran a hotel downtown Sheboygan. So he didn't get those opportunities in that kind of hand-to-mouth life, in a sense, to take those grand trips. And so he would take us to the East Coast. His sister lived out there in Connecticut and in Manhasset, different places. And we would go to Expo 67, Expo 68 in Montreal, and we went to the New York's World's Fair, and we saw Washington, D.C. a couple times, I think, and Mystic Whaling Village, whatever it was, and we saw the Pilgrim Village in Plymouth, Massachusetts, the Plymouth Rock, the Mayflower 2. We did all of those things a couple times, because he was just intent that his girls wouldn't miss out on the things that he had wanted to do.